गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणचक्षाय धीमहि
गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि
गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि
एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय
गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गान्त्यकलाक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रा गूढगुल्पाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि Thank you. Songs are slow songs or fast beat numbers, whatever. We have a big group here. They're all ready to rock with whatever the kind of songs you want. It's a very popular one in DDLJ. Tujhe Dekha is the right guest and Madhavi Indurti garu. तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम, प्यार होता है दीवाना सनम। तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम, प्यार होता है दीवाना सनम। अब यहाँ से कहा जाए सब कुछ तेरा डर होता है दीवाना सनम।
यहाँ से कहाँ जाए हम, तेरी बाहों में मर जाए हम।
तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम। तू सामने बैठी रहे, मैं तुझे देखा अब यहाँ से कहा। How did you like it and switch over? యా గిరీష్ గారు చెప్పండి. వాన చిలుకల ఎలా చెప్పారండి మీరు? అసలు ఎలా చెప్పేస్తారు మీరు?
చూరగలు అట్టా తగిలితే ఎట్టాగా లొంగుతుంది సొగసే.
ఆగవమ్మో అమ్మో ఎంత దురుసే, అరే అబ్బాయి అంటే ఎంత అలుసే. కళ్ళాలు వేసిక అల్లా తెలుసా, నువ్వు చనువిస్తావని ఆశ.
జారు పమిటను కొడుగుగా చేశానోయ్, అరే ఊపిరితో చలి కాశానోయ్.
కళ్ళాలు వేసిక అల్లాడించాలని వచ్చా 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 అని తెలిసి. Thank you. Thank you. Padma garu, Madhav garu, I know you guessed one song. Can you guess another song in this movie? Check.
Hello.
दिल लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, लेने तुझे
सहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना, सहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना, ये दिल की बात अपने दिल में दबा के रखना, सहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना,
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना।
उड़ उड़ के तेरे जुल्फे करती है क्या इशारे, दिल थाम के खड़े हैं आशिक कभी कवारे।
चुप जाए सारी कुड़िया घर में शर्म के मारे, अरे गाँव आ गए हैं पागल शहर के सारे।
नजरें झुका के रखना, दामन बचा के रखना, नजरें झुका के रखना,
कुछ और अपना करना, कुछ और अपना कहना, कुछ और अपना करना, ये दिल की बात अपने दिल में दबा के रखना।
शाबा 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 शाबा
संतन
పదులే పలికే నీ నడకే ఒయ్యరంగా
కలిసి చెటి కాలాల కవేళలో కలల ఛాయిలే
కలలొచ్చటి నీ కంటి పాపాయిలే కథ చెప్పాయిలే
అనుకోని రాగమే అనురాగ దీపమై
వలప పట్టుకుంది నా కవితే నీ కళలే కళ్యాణిగా
అరవిచేటి ఆ భేరి రాగాలకే స్వరమిచ్చావులే అలే కుప్పెలై జడ కుప్పెలై
ముల్లో కాలే కుప్పెలై జడ కుప్పెలై మైక్
Please encourage. Please encourage the artists by giving them a round of applause after every song. I don't know if you know about this. It's a state law that you should applaud after each song as well as each speech. Because I'm going to speak.
Refresh all your Hindi songs memory basically. So let's see how many songs you can really remember and recognize these songs. So let's start with the Chaudhary Ka Chand first.
1, 2, 3, 4.
चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो, जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो। चौदहवीं का चांद हो
प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है, प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल। प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है, प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल।
कहता है दिल रास्ता मुश्किल, मालूम नहीं है कहाँ मंजिल। कहता है दिल रास्ता मुश्किल, मालूम नहीं है कहाँ मंजिल।
प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है, प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल। Come on guys, put your hands up together.
बार बार देखो हजार बार देखो कि देखने की चीज है हमारा दिल रुबा। चाले हो ताले हो ताले हो
बार बार जानते मगर जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। हमें तुमसे प्यार कितना है हम नहीं जानते, मगर जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। हमें तुमसे प्यार
दीवाना भूल कोई हमसे ना हो जाए।
छूकर मेरे मन को किया तूने क्या इशारा।
छूकर मेरे मन को किया तूने क्या इशारा। बदला ये मौसम लगे प्यारा जग सारा।
छूकर मेरे मन को किया तूने क्या इशारा। बदलाए मेरे मन को किया तूने क्या इशारा। रात आधी आता है चंद्रमा, रात आधी रह न जाए तेरी मेरी बात आधी। रह न जाए तेरी मेरी बात आधी। मुलाकात आधी आता है चंद्रमा।
बीती जाए जिंदगानी कब आएगी तू चलिया, तू चलिया। मेरे सपनों की रानी कब आएगी तू। आई रुत मस्तानी कब आएगी।
What song is this? Something Amitabh Bachchan song. रिम झिम गिर सावन सुलग सुलग जाए मन। भीगी आज इस मौसम में लगी कैसी ये लगन। रिम झिम गिर सावन सुलग सुलग जाए मन। भीगे आज इस लगन रिम झिम गिर सावन।
बदल के मेरी तुम जिंदगानी कहीं बदल ना जाना सनम।
Thank you and hope you all like this medley.
All right, how is everything going? I see two groups of people, one at the wet bar, the other one is at the snack bar. And a lot of tables are empty. Can you please come and grace these tables? Please. Ladies and gentlemen, the tables are awaiting you. Distinguished guests, please take your seats. Someone came up to me and said that the time is exactly 7 now and we can get started. So I am here. Look up to your watches, it's exactly 7. All right, that's how most of the Indian American parties go. You know that. I don't have to tell you. Now, my friend Chris asked me, is it 7 o'clock today or tomorrow? Because by mistake he came at 7 o'clock. He doesn't know that most of the parties started. 7 means 9, 9 means 11, and he doesn't know that, right? And SP told me, don't start the program until Devendra Reddy walks in. And he's here. And that's why I came up and then started talking. Jokes apart, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Viju Chiliviru. Too bad, there's no one to introduce me, so I have to introduce myself. Do I need an introduction at all? I'm notorious and everybody knows me, so I don't need to introduce myself. Let me extend a warm welcome to all of you to this much awaited Helping Hands Gala organized by Telangana Community Organization to help Impact Cancer Center in Hyderabad. I will tell you a little bit about both these organizations a little later on. This is basically encouraged and motivated by our friend of Atlanta, friend of Hyderabad, Mr. SP Reddy. Please give him a very big hand. I told you it's a state law. If you don't clap or if you don't give an applaud after every sentence, you may be sued. Please be careful. Okay. Telangana community was founded in 2006 by a group of about 10 families to celebrate what's called Bathukamma. How many of you do not know Bathukamma? Raise your hands. So everybody knows. Okay. It's a celebration of basically, it's a celebration of a festival which is mostly observed in North Telangana. And this was started by late Sri G.S. Reddy Garu. He's no more with us, but his blessings are with us. He encouraged us, and now this Telangana community is almost about, he's got about 1,000 family members. That means it's about 3,000 to 4,000 members are there in Telangana community. And what we do at Telangana community, because I'm a part of Telangana community as my director too, so what we do here is, we not only celebrate Bathukamma, but we also help several families back home in installing water treatment plants, especially in the districts of Nalgonda, Warangal and Karimnagar and those places. The water is very bad, it's very contaminated. So we helped them. There were about 26 plants that were installed and they're operable right now. Secondly, we also help several schools in Andhra Pradesh. Like it's basically kids get the books and fees. Then we also give scholarships for meritorious students. Here in Atlanta, we organize math classes. This was done by actually one of our directors last year. Now let me tell you something about Impact Center in Hyderabad. This was started by a group of doctors and people like you and me, service-minded people like you and me. And the government also is helping a lot. Now, this is a center for kids ailing with cancer. It's too bad. It's too sad that small kids, even 6 months old baby can get a cancer. But after this center started, the survival rate has tremendously gone up. So the kids are able to live longer, and there's so much hope there. I don't want to take a lot of time in explaining about Impact because SP cautioned me. He told me not to steal his thunder. He's going to explain all about Impact. Now, at this point, let me welcome Dr. Ravi Sharma. Everyone knows Dr. Ravi Sharma. He has been in this country and in the city for the last about 30 years, more than 30 years. He graduated from Andhra Medical University, Andhra Medical College, Visakhapatnam, and he specialized in medical oncology, hematology, and geriatric medicine. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Geriatric, right? And he was a faculty in Emory University School of Medicine, associate professor of medicine and human oncology between 1979 and 1995. Since 1995 till date, he is doing his private practice at Suburban Hematology, Oncology. And during 1996, I'm sure most of us remember that he was the torchbearer for the Olympics. Please give him a big hand about this one. And his wife, again, very popular person and a community person, Dr. Shesh Sharma, and his children are Indira Sharma, Gopal Sharma, and Sriram. Now I ask Neeraja Boypalli to come and give Dr. Ravi Sharma a bouquet, and I'll hand over the mic to Dr. Ravi Sharma to make a presentation on how this cancer actually attacks kids, and he's going to explain some things about this thing. Thank you.
Good evening. Greetings to everybody. Thanks to Viju and Sri S.P. Reddy garu who contacted me. Am I holding this thing right? Okay, thank you. A few weeks ago and said, Sharma garu, we are coming to Atlanta. And what we are doing is a NGO, non-governmental organization that we started in 2008. And we would like to get the support from our community for what is being done back home in India. I was very happy to say yes for two reasons. One is the service-minded nature of what SP has been doing for the past several years. He's one of the people who lived here, went back, and has an impact in both places. Secondly, because of my own personal interest in oncology. Therefore, I said, yes, I will be here. Over the last 36 to 40 years that I have been part of the oncology, which is cancer, both the research and the treatment community, the changes have been enormous. Just to give you an idea, the National Society in the United States for Cancer Care is called American Society of Clinical Oncology, ASCO. In 1977, when ASCO met in Denver, it was a huge warehouse with 700 people in attendance. Now, when ASCO meets, it is 50,000 people. The impact of ASCO is worldwide. So much so, ASCO does not come to even cities like Atlanta because Atlanta cannot accommodate 50,000 people with housing, transportation, all in one place. So they stay in Chicago for the most part. So that is the impact of progress that has been made in treatment of cancer. During my house agency, generally, I know every one of you has a doctor in the family. In India, a house agency essentially is basically having good time. You know, finally, you pass your final year, and then before you start your residency or whatever, you have a good time. It so happened one of our professors of pathology, Dr. C.R.R.M. Reddy, some of you may know him. He later on served as Director of Medical Education and just a brilliant man. So he drafted me to kind of do his field work. So we used to go every weekend to rural Andhra Pradesh, and over a period of 9 months, we screened about 10,000 people. For what Shekhar Reddy garu now knows very well, it's what's called chutta cancer, which is part of the throat cancer, head and neck cancer. During those days, when culturally it was not acceptable for women to smoke, a lot of women from the lower economic community would smoke a cigar called chutta, but you can't smoke like a man. So you would cover and smoke with the burning end inside. It's called addapoga antaru Telugulo. So the addapoga veste and one of the problems is it causes a cancer in the throat, especially the roof, which is called the heart palate. So we used to screen these people, and in those days, even getting a chest x-ray at a doctor's, in big cities also, it was a major accomplishment. And therefore, to bring these people, we used to transport them, bring them, provide them the lunch at KGH, King George Hospital, and get them to get radiation therapy. And that was Cobalt machine. Nowadays, linear accelerator, 3D conformation radiation. And so that's how far it has come in the last 40 years. In the early 90s, I used to give invited lectures in India. And so in like 1984, when I went to Chennai, I spent a day and a half with Mr. Pratap Reddy Garu, who at that time left his practice, cardiologist from Boston area, and started Apollo Hospital System. And he was very much trying to recruit people to come and be with him. And so we spent a day and a half and met his people, met all the things that he was doing. And at that time went to Adayar Cancer Institute, went to Nizam Institute. They had a TB hospital and a radiation oncology hospital out there in Sanat Nagar area. Dr. Seshagiri Garu used to be the director of radiation oncology, radiology and radiation oncology in those days. And it would be amazing to see what was lacking then. Okay? So the big change took place when India opened up in 1991, but before India opened up, right after emergency rule ended, people who lived in the United States between 1965 and the early 80s, people who lived in the UK in the 50s, 60s to 80s slowly started gravitating back to India and beginning to force change in that country. Okay? So, in the last 30-35 years, I have done consultations, one professionally when I was at the university, later on a personal level, to people who were treated at the All India Institute, people who were treated at the Jaslok Hospital, Tata Institute. And in the very beginning, in the late 80s, early 90s, there was no medical oncologist in Andhra Pradesh. One of our professors, Dr. Narayan, E.N.B. Sarma's son, used to commute between Mumbai and Hyderabad. Then he used to fly to Vizag and provide the oncology services, compared to what that we'll be seeing these days. So that is the quantum change that took place when the economy opened in 91, and definitely in the late 90s, with the IT revolution, everything changed in India, and the progress has been tremendous. So when we speak of cancer care in India, we pretty much talk about adult cancers. The impact of childhood cancer is even more devastating. I want you to stop and think a little something. When someone who is 55 or 60 comes down with a lung cancer, we somehow feel if only he didn't smoke, maybe he would not have had the lung cancer. If someone comes down with colon cancer, we say maybe if he didn't eat too much of red meat, maybe if he had been a vegetarian, although that's not true, but we just our thinking process, how we try to judge people. And if someone comes down with a breast cancer, we say, did you have your mammogram? Okay? So every time a cancer patient comes to you, the psychology is that somehow, if you had done something differently, maybe this could have been avoided. Okay? So now, think of a child. A 6-month-old child that comes with a swollen belly. The mom says, the child is cranky, not eating, throwing up. Doctor, what do you think? And you put your hand on the belly and you find a big tumor. Or you find a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old. So you know the story what I'm talking about. So in childhood cancers, there's nobody to blame that we can think of. In childhood cancers, they are completely at the mercy of the parents' ability to be able to afford whatever the cost of care is. Okay? Now, cancer used to be, even time immemorial, మన తెలుగులో అయితే రాచపుండు అంటారు. రాచపుండు means it's a pundu means sore. Ratsapundu means only royalty can afford to get cancer. Okay? Because it bankrupts people. It bankrupts people. Just to give you an idea, there is one orphan drug that is prescribed for a small number of people. The cost of the drug per year is $600,000. Cost of the drug. So much so, the drug company, when you ever order it, there were places in this country where they would deliver it by an armored truck. Yeah, a few months ago in New Jersey, there was a big heist of a warehouse, not for gold, not for anything, about $80 million worth of cancer drugs were stolen. Okay? So that is how expensive cancer treatment is. Now, then you think of India. Okay? As much as India is coming up, as much as India is in the G20, 7th largest economy in the world, still, this is one of those things that bankrupts people. Okay? Every time I get a consultation and somebody asks me, Ravi, what do you think I should do? Mom is there, dad is there, I'm here, and the prescriptions that are being given by the doctors are costing us lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Okay? And lakhs and lakhs of rupees, whether you convert into dollars, Swiss francs, it doesn't make a difference. It just is a high impact. And I have seen people selling their home thinking that somehow if they have a 20 lakh house that they sell and give the treatment, dad somehow will be cured. And I have to constantly tell them, don't do it. And that's so hard for an oncologist to tell people, don't do it. Okay? Because we always think maybe 3 months from now, 6 months from now, we can do better. We can do that for adults. When it comes to children, you have to think back. Why? Childhood cancers are treatable. Childhood cancers are curable. Childhood cancers happen in people who bounce back very well. Therefore, when you look at a little kid, the hardest part of my training was pediatric oncology. The reason it was so hard is I could never see that child cry or anything. And one of the things that during my pediatric oncology was doing what is called a spinal tap. When you do a spinal tap, you put a needle into the back and take some fluid from the brain, surrounding the brain, to look for leukemia. And sometimes we put medications in there, okay? So, but the amazing part is this, guys. So I would go there, and the little kid will be crying and carrying on and all that. And then my nurse will come and she will say, okay, Jane, Janice, whatever, just be still for 2 minutes. Dr. Sharma will get this thing done. And they're crying and carrying on, and I will come there, I'll put on my gloves, take the needle, and the baby sits still, the child, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, just completely still. I put the little needle, take a small amount of fluid, put the intrathecal methotrexate, come out, and then she starts crying again. So you could see that she wants to help the doctor do his job. And the doctor really has to do the job properly. It will be amazing how you see that children do that all the time. So I told my director, I said, I don't want to deal with children. I don't want to deal with this because it's too much tough even for me. Okay? So that is the kind of impact that pediatric cancer has. Reddy Garu will show you great information of what's being done. In India, several things, and these are all changing fast. So we cannot think of India of the 1970s and 60s or 90s. There is no statistical information that you can depend on. But I'll give you some examples. In the United States, 10,000 children come down with cancer. 2,500 children die. 7,500 people are alive. And the children live to be 30s and 40s. So I have now children who are treated, who are now in their mid-40s, who are my patients. United States has 300 million people. India has 1.1 billion, so 4 times the population. Okay? So if you take 10,000 statistics here and extrapolate to India, you get 40,000 just by population numbers. Then if you take the age distribution, that is from age 0 to age 25, okay? Because the osteogenic sarcoma, Hodgkin's disease, some of them happen in the older children. That population is greater in the Indian populace than in the United States. So that ratio is about 2 to 1. We have a lot more younger people in India. So you have to double the number to come to close to 80,000. Okay? Now here is the next one. If you know of what is happening in our country back home, if you look at the industrial pollution, especially the ones that Dr. Sri Reddy Garu and his group are trying to help is rural communities, bringing them, giving them the care. You have seen the devastation caused by pesticides in the countryside of India. How it has destroyed lives there. The pesticide use, unregulated pollution, contamination. We don't even know what the impact of those things have been. If any of us doubt it here, let me tell you, in the 1991 Kuwait war, that's when the US walked in, right? And they blew up all the oil wells. Because they wanted to destroy Saddam Hussein's hold in that area. In 1992, September, at Emory, when I was still on the faculty, we saw our first patient who was in his 20s, just returned from Iraq, who came down with acute leukemia. Okay? Barely 15 months after the war. Why? He probably was exposed to all the oil tank, the storage facilities, etc. that were just set on fire, flames. Who inhaled all that? All these people, all these 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds who were deployed in Kuwait started becoming sick. Okay? So think about that. Think of Mumbai. Think of Delhi. Think of Hyderabad. Think of all the things. Think of the ONGC, oil and natural gas companies, that what they have done along the Godavari Delta and all that. Do we know what has it done to people? Do we know what kind of cancer incidence there is in that population? We don't. Okay? We may say that the government has a responsibility to do that. Just, I was thinking about it. If Andhra Pradesh government can spend 20,000 crores of rupees, just as an example, that's not much of money in these days, okay? Some private individuals are worth that much money. If they spend 20,000 crores of rupees on cancer care, pediatric cancer care, that covers how many children? 100,000. What is the population of Andhra Pradesh? 80 million, something like that, right, Andy? Okay, 100 million. So they want to spend their money preventing cholera, providing clean water. You know what Viju Garu was telling about the clean water supply in rural Telangana. Okay, and these are the kind of things they don't have money for, because they're very busy subsidizing rice purchases and making sure they win their elections. This thing has to come on a low priority. Okay, so what is it that what SP Reddy Garu is doing that is so important for all of us, just for the fact that it is being attempted? Because we now know the scale of the whole thing. Ani Agnihotri is here. He has been operating the Indian Cancer Support Group here for the past few years. And, I'm so glad for that. And Shekhar Garu is trying to get some research done in India about cancer treatments. And several of you are here. You understand that. Many years ago, growing up in the movie Sant Jnaneswar, there was a song that Mukesh sang, Jyot se Jyot lagate chalo. And President Bush, the daddy Bush, when he was president, was talking about 1,000 points of light. What is it that he was talking about? What was Sant Jnaneswar asking us to do? As you go on, please light up the path. And President Bush was saying, when people get involved, and when you start to make an impact, and that's what you have titled your organization, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in a way that you could not even have imagined. 2% to whatever person that SP will show you, that's an incredible statistic. But think of the lives it touches. Think of the people that it touches, countless families. It is not the same India where we used to be 1 of 10 children, 5 of them make it to adulthood. These days, no matter who you are, if you are lucky, if you have 3 or 4 children and you want them to be good, and many Indian families now have only 1 or 2 children. So we are becoming Western model, so we cannot afford to lose our kids. There is the other issue here. If I am financially well-to-do and access to care, none of these things matter. In the 2012 elections, the 1%, 99% issue became a major one. He is trying to impact the 99%. He is not talking about the 1%. The 1% in India are crorepathies. They can take care of themselves. It's all the rest of them that don't have access to that kind of advanced care. He is coordinating with the government of Andhra Pradesh Cancer Hospital and providing what that he can do. So if from any angle I think about this, it just touches you in your heart. Why? Because of the way it is done, because of the way it is trying to touch people who are the most vulnerable, both economically, socially, and medically, because they have the most devastating illnesses that one can hope to get. And you then look at it and say, it's not fair. Why should a little child have to go through this? Okay? So these are all the things that kind of bring to our mind as to why this is such an important part of work that is being done. What he has done can be duplicated, replicated nationally. This is one of those citizen empowerment things. We take these things into our hands. We can make a bigger difference than a government can. I'm sure if you're a Republican, you agree with that philosophy. Okay? So Vijay Garu has put together a beautiful set of things that I could show you. If you give me a few minutes, I'll show. I kind of touched on some of these things, but I want to show something more to you. So if you are from India, and some of you, most of us are Andhra Pradesh Army, but those of you who are not, Andhra Pradesh is on the east coast. We are pretty much across this, from Bombay to Vizag, you can draw a straight line, and Hyderabad is right in the middle. So I'm next line, Galtara. We then focus on Andhra Pradesh. I come from the east coast on the ocean, where Reddy Garu is doing the work is in Hyderabad with a big mark there. But he told me that people from Srikakulam and other places are also taken there. When we think of cancer in India or advanced healthcare, we think of All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi. Next slide, Amma. We think of Tata Memorial Hospital, Jaslok Hospital, Rajesh Jashani, Deepak, you guys know these places. Whereas our patients used to travel. I used to consult with people who would be in Hyderabad or Vizag. They will fly to Jaslok, get their treatments, and then come back here without any adequate follow-up. I think this is the Apollo Hospital in Chennai, and that is the Adayar Cancer Institute. There was a wonderful lady that I used to go and make rounds there at least every other year for several years. I did that, and this is Adayar Cancer Institute, and I think this is the Nizam Kadandi. Okay, these are the Nizam Institute, and this affiliation is the Institute Cancer Hospital that Sri Reddy Garu is working. This is in Hyderabad. So I just then thought, is there someone else doing something that is similar to what Reddy Garu is doing with their impact organization? Here, this is the thing called Uday group, who are very active in New Delhi. Okay, so there are NGOs that someone like them can pull together and create a national organization that speaks for the needs of vulnerable children across the country. So therefore, they can magnify the kind of impact that they can have on other people. I wanted to show you that there is a lot of interest in understanding. There is a worldwide campaign to reach out to children who come down with cancer. So we just had February is a World Cancer Day. In this particular picture, it is very difficult for you to see, but any of you can see the right eye of the child. That little thing, it seems so harmless. You say, oh, my daughter has a small thing. But that is what is called retinoblastoma. That is the tumor of the retina that is going to take this girl quickly unless it is taken care of. So the symptoms are so innocent sounding, innocent looking, that a mom and dad can be forgiven if they did recognize it's a very serious thing. Okay? So that is what I wanted to show you. And so, in September, this is the National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the United States. And I'm sure in Reddy Garu may tell us there may be a Cancer Awareness Day, Cancer Awareness Month. The reason we need to think of these lines is with people like him who are capable of leading these kind of efforts at a national level, they would like to know how this is all done at the grassroots level in our country. And these are slowly making their way into India. Okay, many of you have raised funds for American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Many of you will probably run the Susan Komen Foundation walk, 2-day walk, 3-day walk, or you have given money for that. Many of you would have run for lymphoma, cure for lymphoma. These are the things that this country does that are slowly beginning to have it take hold in India. And these are the kind of things that Reddy Garu may be already thinking of impacting in India, so that younger people, younger professionals who are very familiar with the Western ways of doing things can have that kind of grassroots support effort to help children. So, in the 1960s, the cure rate of cancer in childhood is around 25%. It is now close to 80%. In the statistics I gave you, 10,000 new cancers, 2,500 deaths is 75% survival rate. Okay, these numbers do not translate to India, and that is one of the things he is trying to change. So that is the Indian Cancer Society's effort to bring awareness to childhood cancer. And these are the kind of children that he is trying to reach. Okay, these are the 99% of India. These are the rural communities. These are the people who do not have the power, wealth, or access to things that can make a difference in their life, so they cannot take care of themselves. He will tell you how that was and how this impact is trying to change that. And of course, Wilms tumor, that is the R&D Institute. Let's go to the next one. That's the osteosarcoma. The reason I put those two slides are this. The childhood cancers of the few months from the infants to young adults, they're so different. And so you have a spectrum. Just to tell you how devastating it can be, we work with Bhutanese communities. There was a young family, young man, that I met him when he came here in his 11th grade. We helped that family, and he was so good. I worked with him and then several others. He became a Gates Foundation scholar. He's now at Georgia Tech. And one of the other students with him, about the same time, we were able to get him to Oglethorpe University on full scholarship. So this young man, last Thanksgiving 2012, he sent me a text saying that I have some stomach ache, but the hospital, the Grady Hospital, is saying that you need to be admitted to the hospital. End of Christmas, he was dead, 20-year-old. He developed a gastric cancer and he's gone. In the last 45 to 50 days, we just could not even go and see the parents in their eyes to talk to them because we don't know what to tell them. How can a 20-year-old, bright coming, suddenly be cut down so fast? And therefore, this kind of importance is not only little children out there. You know, if you think of it, Ted Kennedy's son had osteogenic sarcoma, but it's a milder variety. And in those days, they were giving high-dose methotrexate, and Kennedys are one of the richest people. He complained about the cost of cancer care in the 60s, but that boy survived and did well. Next one. And so I just put this little headline I came across right in the hometown of Reddy Garu. This is New Indian Express Hyderabad edition. How awareness is happening there. More and more people are realizing that childhood cancer is a very important thing. Next one. And that's a little baby. That's the United Nations campaign. I think it's from the Western provinces, I believe I picked it up. Next one. So this I put it only for the reason, any of you have worked in cancer, have come across, all over the country there are what are called Ronald McDonald houses. These are usually the pediatric areas, and Atlanta has one of them. That is, the McDonald's Corporation has a foundation that funds these things where parents can stay while the children are getting treatments. There is the Aflac Cancer Center, that is the Eggleston Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cancer Center, funded by Aflac, which is a Columbus-based insurance company. Then there are others. Okay, the reason is, in India, for example, he has a budget of $500,000 to take it to the next level. That is his amount. These corporations can raise that money very well if they understand what is being done, what it is, because there is a certain amount of altruism. There was the other day I was listening to some music from Coca-Cola studios in Pakistan. They got in there. What they have done is they put the just recording studios and let people come and sing and participate. They have a good time. And you listen to those Coca-Cola studio videos on YouTube, you'll be amazed at the quality of music that they have done. They have no access to the simple recording thing for the most people with a lot of talent. And this Coca-Cola studio, and you see they're just excellent, incredible youth singing. So Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, these are all multinationals who want to have a presence in India, in Hyderabad. There are all kinds of tech cities out there. If they believe what he's doing is the right one, they can raise those $500,000 very well, because they have grassroots reach like what we have here. So I put this Hyundai Hope on Wheels, helping fight cancer. I don't even know if it is an Indian outreach that I picked up, but just wanted to tell you what is all out there that people have been doing to increase the grassroots participation. Okay, Saint Jude is the patron saint of hopeless causes. When there is no hope, Catholics believe Saint Jude will come and protect you. So, mana Vinayakudanto, okay, mana Ishwarudanto, Vishnumoortanto, atla anamata. So, St. Jude's Hospital Cancer Center in Memphis, Tennessee is one of the foremost institutes for children's cancer care. And they have started to have a presence in India to provide childhood cancer treatment. So you see how this is happening in multiple ways. Suddenly, this is becoming an important part of the total concept of healthcare and access to healthcare. So I just wanted to bring you home some of the things that are happening, that are transforming how we perceive healthcare, health needs. And then we say, I'm not going to depend on government of Andhra Pradesh to fund this. I'm going to do it at my level and have an impact on people, expand what can be done, and recruit more people. What else can be much more fulfilling than that in someone's life? So that's my final message. We believe in our country and our children as health. Thank you.
I don't know if you noticed the very first slide of Dr. Ravi Sharma. I said impact and Dr. Ravi Sharma. That's the kind of impact he makes at every Indian American community. Like, these are the kind of people actually who make us pride in the entire world. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Sharma, for giving us wonderful information about how cancer. The event is getting a little serious because the occasion itself is serious. We are talking about cancer and it's a sad thing. So let me cheer you up by asking you a trivia question, okay? If you have noticed the slides that we were running earlier, who contributed the highest donation for this cause? Can you raise your hand and tell me? Yes. And one more trivia question. Do you know Murali and Devender are twin brothers who were separated about 50 years ago? And actually they met at Huntsville. And when they were looking at each other, oh, my God, you're my twin brother. Give them a very big hand, Murali and Devender. And there are so many other donors. I'm not trying to basically, ignore others. We are going to talk about them too. Okay. Now, let me remind you, this program is being supported by so many Indian community organizations. Now, do I go alphabetically or do I go with popularity? I don't know. Okay, let me read out all the names. Ata, Gata, Nata. Do you see all the tas there? Tata, Tata, Ata. Okay, then we have NATS, and we have Hindu Temple of Atlanta, IACA. Too bad I don't see Chand here, but Chand was here for a few minutes. He was here? Okay. Then Ata, Gata, no, I need to memorize. Ata, Gata, Nata, Nats, and Tana. Now, all these organizations are represented by one distinguished person. Let me now read out all the names and the names of the people who are representing. Ata is represented by Karunakar Reddy. Please rise so that we know who you are. Please rise. Please rise. Okay. Gata is represented by Mr. Tiger. I don't know his name. I always call him Tiger. Mr. Tangirala Satyanarayan Reddy. Okay. Nata is represented by Balakrishna Reddy. People know him as Bala, but his actual name is Balakrishna Reddy. Nats is represented by Mr. Srinivas Lau. The only language he knows is to smile. Whenever you see him, he smiles. He doesn't even talk. Okay. Then Tama is represented by none other than myself. Applaud. Very big round of applaud. And Anand Garal Party. We both are directors there. And Mr. Srinivas Lau is the chairman. If anyone else from Tama is here, please stand because we need much more representation than that. Then Tana. Madhu was here. I don't know. He must be downstairs. Actually, this gentleman, Subhash Raj, actually stole our show today. We would have had about 500 people and about $5 million because, he got an award and it's too bad for us. And Hindu Temple is represented by Dr. Ravi Sharma. Maitri is represented by myself again. And ISC is represented by Ani Agnihotri. Please rise. And if you noticed, the hall became a little more colorful after Paddy and Mr. Sharma walked in. Have you noticed that? I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. We have another distinguished guest, that is Vijay Mallampati. He is representing Telugu One. Please rise so that everybody knows. Thank you so much. Now, let me request Mr. Shekhar Reddy, the president of Accura Technologies, who is going to introduce the man of the night. That's the suspense. Thank you.
Thank you, Viju. I had known Prabhakar for over 25 years. I think one of the few people over here who knows Prabhakar is myself. And I was fortunate to know Prabhakar because what I see in him is a dynamic young guy coming to Atlanta, about maybe 5-6 years younger to me, but coming with a lot of enthusiasm to Atlanta and meeting me in Atlanta. When I first met with him, he came as a software engineer and then he started a company called Ingenious Group. If I remember right, it was sometime in 1997 or so, he started Ingenious Group and successfully grew that company to be about $15+ million company, mostly focusing in the federal markets and so forth. While he was working with Ingenious, he started in the hospitality business and he ventured out into a couple of other things. But in 2007, Prabhakar left Atlanta and went back to India, and having been fortunate to have a good piece of property his father gave him and his family, he decided that he's better off to develop a huge development in Gachibowli, a prime piece of property. Prabhakar, I envy. I wish my dad had given something similar to me, that probably I would have been in Hyderabad today. But that property he is developing with his experience over here from the hospitality industry is about 1 million square foot with Walmart and Hyatt as his anchor tenants. Now, while he was in Atlanta, not only as a businessman, but he was very much active in the professional organizations. And I remember in 1999, when TIE, it's an international organization, when they wanted to open a chapter here in Atlanta, Prabhakar was one of the founding members of Atlanta community who actively participated in bringing the chapter to Atlanta. And TIE is a very vibrant organization in Atlanta, helping the young entrepreneurs here. And then when Ani, a good friend of ours, when he wanted to start a Georgia Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Prabhakar pitched in to help jumpstart the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, and he played a role as a president and chairman of that organization. Now, going back to India, he just did not focus on the development which he was going to do, but he got involved as an investor and as a director in few other organizations, and some of them is Sunshine Group of hospitals. That hospital focuses on orthopedic surgeries and all that. And then he is a director and an investor in Asian Institute, which is one of the premier institutes on the GI side of it. And at a village level, he comes from a district called Nalgonda, and he just don't think he forgot his village roots. And one of the first things he did when he went back to India was to make sure that his village, the sanitation system meets to 100% of the Western standards, and for which he was given a Rashtrapati award and all those things. That was a lot of us, we come from village, we forget about village, but Prabhakar constantly sort of connects himself to the village side of it. From his family side of it, I think I know them very well. He has 3 children and a wonderful wife who supports him 100%. And I feel that Veena is constantly supporting you, Prabhakar. Had it not been for Veena, you would not have had this much of a flexibility to come back and forth to US. I can tell you that. But more than that, one of the greatest things he did, which we all want to do, we don't have guts to do, is he adopted a child. There are only 2 people I know in this crowd who adopted a child. One is Dr. Ravi Sharma Garu, and the other person is Prabhakar. In fact, in my life, I wanted to do it. I didn't have guts to do it. And for that, Prabhakar, hands off for you for that. Now, more than that, what I see in Prabhakar is the connectivity he has among his friends. While he was here in Atlanta, he connects so well over here that every time he comes to Atlanta, he constantly is calling me and Devender and Ravinder and Ani and all, just to make sure that he doesn't lose that connectivity. Even when I go to India, he's connected so well with his cousins and all that. I bet, Prabhakar, if it had not been with your leadership qualities of connecting people today, I don't think you could have accomplished what you are accomplishing today. And today, we all are over here because of your leadership qualities, your vision, your passion to help the community. And I want to thank you for, doing whatever you're doing. On behalf of everyone, I want to thank you. And I would like you to come over and talk about the next big thing you want to accomplish in your life. Come on, Prabhakar.
Thank you, Shekhar. I think we all had a lot of serious business, but I'm going to crack some jokes. They're not jokes, actually, practically happened to me. My friend Deven and Murli, we are actually Amar, Akbar, Anthony. So Amar is myself, Akbar is Devender, and Anthony, obviously, we can't compete with Amitabh Bachchan, Murli. So we are known for that. Devender is the one in this crowd who has known me for a very, very long time, since childhood, probably 45 years. And then Murli and myself were roommates. In fact, we slept in the same bed. That's all I can say. Okay? Same room. We don't want to say anything more. But anyway, this afternoon I was going for lunch with my colleague Bill Callagher, and Prabhakar and Vivek was also in the car. So I told Bill Callagher, he said, Mr. Reddy, I'm going to write you a check. I said, well, look, we have decided 3 zeros. The decision is 3 zeros. The first digit is your choice. The last 3 digits is my choice. So he said, Mr. Reddy, you know what, I don't mind writing that if you're willing to dance on the table. So I told him, man, I will dance with clothes on. If I remove my shirt, will you give me some more? If I remove my rest of the stuff, will you give me more? So in fact, Vivek jumped in and said, you know what, there are a lot of people tonight who are going to come. We'll pay you a lot more if you don't do that. So, that apart, I'm having fun in India. Of course, a lot of people are also having fun of me too, and I've shared these jokes with my friends dearly whenever I come. Everything is fine in India, but something that I didn't like is, I went to my younger daughter's school. This was 4 years back, for a teacher-parents meeting. So my wife said, you go, and I went there. And the teacher had a list, and she had my daughter's name, Sahana. As soon as I walked in, right beside her name, she writes GP and close brackets. And she asked me, where are parents? I said, what the hell you write? You wrote GP. She thought I was her grandfather. I said, man, this is crazy, Then again, what happened, my youngest one, the adopted one, I dropped her at school and I pick her up in the afternoon sometimes. I went in, walked in, and I said, I want to pick up Sarayu. So my youngest one was on the top floor, on the first floor or something. The Aya, the one who works at the kinder care school, she looks up and talks to the other lady upstairs and says, hey, her tata has come. Please send her. But the worst of all that happened to me just 2 months back, and I shared with Murli and Devender, these are the things that I share with these guys regularly. I went to on my wife's side, she's from Bangalore, I went for a wedding. So we go there, and I don't know some of her side, and we are walking to meet the bride and the groom. So there was a guy from the Veena side said, Veena introduced me, and the guy didn't catch that I was her husband. So as soon as I turn around, walking away, he tells my wife, is he your mama, which is your father-in-law? I said, man. Then I turned back and I said, God damn, what this guy? I really wanted to hit him. But anyway, these things happen to me, and I've taken it very easily, because every time I go to an ice cream parlor with a bunch of kids, they think I'm their grandfather. But I have a lovely wife, and as Shekhar said, a son and a daughter. They were born in Atlanta. And then I went back home in 2009. I adopted a 3-day-old baby girl. She was born on June 30th. We brought her home on July the 3rd. So she's now 3.5. She's going to be 4. Her name is Sarayu, and she is really completed her life, our life. So everybody says she's lucky, but I say I think we are lucky to have her. But anyway, before we get to serious business, I just wanted to start off with a couple of quotes that I'm very fond of. One is, we must become the change we want to see in the world. That was something that Mahatma Gandhi said, and I strongly believe in it. In fact, when you come to my office in Hyderabad, I have a small board which has all the famous quotations from Martin Luther King, Harry Truman. The other thing, the most which is probably relevant to what we are talking here, is Mother Teresa, who said, "We think sometimes the poverty is the only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty." This is something Mother Teresa said. Now, coming back to impact. Now, why I've got involved in this, how I got involved in this. There's a doctor by name Dr. Sudha Sinha. I know most of you who are from Hyderabad probably know her mother, her name is Shanta Sinha, very famous social activist. She's in the National Commission chairman, vice chairman. Sudha actually did her oncology in Boston, practiced in Boston for several years. Her husband is a software engineer. Moved to India like us, was working at Apollo Hospital. And there came a child, a 2-year-old child with cancer. And Apollo said they needed 3 or 4 lakhs, if I'm right, 2.5 or 3 lakhs to treat her. And the child would not have survived if she did not raise that money to cure or treat that baby. So she reached out to her friend, a gentleman by name Dr. Fani, and his wife, Dr. Sunita. If you recently have visited Hyderabad, you probably have seen something called Lucid Diagnostic Centers. They are the founders of the venture. So Fani and them gave some money, a bunch of them. She saved the child is good, healthy. Then she realized, she said, look, this 2 or 3 lakhs that is costing a child, if I go and work in a government hospital, I could raise more money and I could save more children. And that was this thing. So she took up a job at MNJ Cancer Hospital, which stands for Mehdi Nawaz Jung Regional Cancer Hospital. She joined, her salary is 33,700 rupees. Okay? So she took up the job. There was absolutely no child pediatric focused oncology division in that hospital at all. They were kind of treated with the rest of the crowd. So she again reached back to her friends and said, then they created a 14-bed hospital. They donated within the same infrastructure. They gave some beds. And then they started treating, they started seeing results. Then my friends approached a company called Natco. I'm sure you heard of. It's a very large pharmaceutical company out of Hyderabad. They donated substantial amount of money to build a 40-bed unit. It's a brand new unit. It's another floor they put on in the existing building. Once that was created, Impact started to support that initiative, but they were going directionless. I mean, they were giving money, but they didn't have focus, they didn't know what to do. Then Fani and Sunita approached me and said, look, and Sudha approached me and said, look, we need some somebody like you to lead this initiative, give us some direction. We would be your soldiers. So can you please help us do that? And more, in fact, Funny was the one who actually convinced me to do it. So the first rule of mine was, a lot of these kids, a lot of these youngsters, well, I'm only 52, so they start something, they have money, they donate, and they just lose it. But I didn't want to be part of an organization that does that. So I told them, look, we need to focus. If you guys agree, if you want me to lead it, then you have to lead by the rules. We have to set up something. So one of the things that I did was I held a meeting with those guys and said, look, we need to create a sustainable, replicable, as Ravi Sharma Garu said, and set some directions and set a corpus and see how we can help these kids, how we can save these kids. Before Impact took over, in fact, this presentation, I'll run it through later on, but it's more important for me to tell this story. The survival rate was 2%. After Impact took over, all we did was the medicines were supplied by the hospital, but the nursing staff, the counseling staff were completely paid, even today, are on Impact salary. Impact pays for their every month salary. We counsel, the reason for the decimal rate of survival cancer in child was most of these parents were abandoning the treatment because they couldn't afford it. So I said, let me visit the hospital. And that's the first thing I did. I went and visited the hospital. You wouldn't believe I started crying after seeing these kids. Kids with, Ravi Sharma reminded me one of the slides he showed with a kid with an eye, cancer in the eye. There was a 2-year-old kid. She had a cancer apparently behind the eye. It pushes the eyeball out. And she had a bandage. And I said, what happened? And she said, the doctor explained it to me. It's curable. So I visited the entire 40-bed hospital. It was shared by almost 80 kids. One sleeps that side, the other sleeps this side, So it was bad. Then recently I encountered, when I visited on the 25th of January, I took my children there and I visited there. There was a baby girl, she was almost 3 years. Her father was with her. So I asked her what happened where's the mother? So the mother came to know that the child has cancer. These poor people, when they say cancer, they think it's, the kid is not going to survive, he's going to die. Mother became mentally ill. And she was admitted in, most of Erragadda Mental Hospital, where she's getting treated every day. So the father stays with the child in the morning time, goes in the afternoon, spends his time there and comes back here. And this guy is from Mahbubnagar 2 town. There are people from Srikakulam, there are people from West Godavari, there are people from Guntur, Kurnool, Mahbubnagar, Nalgonda, Rangareddy districts, from all over the place. But Impact created this atmosphere. Different religion, kids from all castes, But you know what? One thing that was common in these kids, these families, because one thing that is very common is they were all poor. They're all poor and they cannot afford this treatment. They could not stay for an extended period of time with their children to get the cancer treated. So they used to abandon. So they used to come from far off places, get the first treatment, and then they used to leave, never show up. If you had 3 children, the parents used to say, they used to choose, hey, I don't have money to go and get him treated. If I'm focused on this one guy and staying in Hyderabad, I'm going to lose the other two guys. So they used to take back the guy with the cancer and stay there. To save the other two guys, they would sacrifice this. And I'm not kidding about this. This is real. So this was very emotional and pathetic because there was no support system. Community, government, no. So when I saw all of this, the irony is this hospital does not even have a blood bank. And Ravi Sharma Garu can tell how important it is to have a blood bank in a cancer hospital, especially pediatric. So we conduct, Impact conducts camps, blood camps every month in colleges, in companies. In fact, I help them do a blood camp in Dell, Oracle, because I know some people there. Then the blood is collected. They don't have a place to store that blood and do a separator. They don't have a blood separator component. So it is stored at NTR Cancer Hospital. I'm sure you know Basavata Ramana Cancer Institute. And there they use some Swiss method, if I'm correct, to separate the platelets and things like that. And only 30 units is given to us. 70 units is taken by Basavata Ramana. For 30 units, we worked so hard. So recently, what happened is they said we'll also start charging for 30 units. We collect the blood, we give it, and each unit costs us 1,700 rupees. So I went and spoke to the chairman of Basavata Rama, who happens to be my father's boss, R.P. Singh, was the police commissioner. And I told him, don't do it. Please don't do it, we'll get our own blood bank in the hospital. The hospital has gotten approval to set up a blood bank, but the funds have not arrived. The process there is, the blood bank is approved through the AP AIDS Control Organization. It goes to Delhi, an organization called NACO, which is National AIDS Control Organization, headed by a senior secretary IAS officer. At that time was Mr. Sayan Chatterjee. And the file was with him, so I flew directly to Delhi with a couple of parliament members with me, took up an appointment, sat with him and said, you have this approval in 2010, we need you to give the money to this cancer hospital. And we showed them the results, and he was very touched by it. He immediately said, we will dispatch our inspection team to come and inspect. It is very heavily regulated, this thing. So they came and visited, talked to the local Andhra Pradesh authorities. Finally, we are being approved to set up our own blood bank, which we will be setting it up probably another month or two. So there's a lot of things, because there's no one in the hospital or the leadership in the hospital could take this cause to the next level. So with the influence, with the connections that we all have in India, I was able to do it. Imagine if somebody has to go to Delhi and do it, they wouldn't even have money to pay for a ticket. So we were successful in doing that. After we created this 40-bed hospital, and I told you the survival rate now is about 48%. The international, well, as Ravi Sharma Garu said, the latest statistic says it's about 90% survival rate in childhood cancer. It is curable, it is doable, but they do not have that infrastructure and the external support to do it. So once we saw that there was a tremendous amount of rush to the hospital and there were 40 beds, 80 kids, we had a couple of isolation rooms, we had one room for the kids to play, So we do events every now and then for Diwali, for festivals, we all go recently we added another 30 beds. One of the most important thing here is the public-private partnership that we call is really working here. The leadership at the M&J Cancer Hospital, headed by the director by name is Dr. Kannan, who's very supportive. Is very supportive of our initiatives. Somebody like us coming in and doing things that they've never done. So recently we also got a biochemistry lab there approved. It's under construction. It was supposed to be done last 2 weeks back before I came. And Chief Minister agreed. I met CM recently and I told him that he needs to inaugurate this 30-bed hospital and also this biochemistry. I was very appreciative of what we are doing. And, unfortunately, he was called to New Delhi the very same day, but he did agree. And again, I met him before I came here. He said, after I come back from US, he said he agreed to come to the hospital, spend some time, and inaugurate that hospital. The 30-bed. One of the key things in here, the fundraising that I'm doing here, and also what the future for Impact and what we wanted to do. The families that come with the children, they come from remote areas, they come from very poor socio-economic conditions are very bad. They cannot afford to pay 200 rupees bus ticket. So about 6 months back, I committed myself and I give them $1,000 every month. I donate to Impact just for transportation purposes. We did a cost estimate in terms of based on this, how many people, what we go to do. So it costs us about 40 to 45,000 rupees. So I give them 50,000 rupees every month just for transportation. Now what do we wanted, and we also wanted to do something with the government. We wanted to seek some funds. There are funds available in the government, but there's no one to lead that effort. So I approached a couple of Rajya Sabha members and have them commit for 50 lakhs each in the next budget session. They both committed. One is CM Ramesh from Telugu Desam and Devendra Gaur, both from Telugu Desam Party, with whom I know them very well. They said, after listening to this story, they said, we will do it. The process in India is so tedious. 25 lakhs was granted under the MP Lads, which is Member of Parliament, which is like a senator here. He has funds for his region. The collector of Hyderabad is the one who actually disperses the check. The file was sitting in collector's office for the last 5 months. When it was brought to my attention, I immediately went to the collector's office. Very nice gentleman. Sat with him. Of course, it was not sitting on his desk. It was sitting right underneath in his office. Got it approved. By 3 in the afternoon, the check was released. We could do that with influence. We can't just walk in. I had to make calls. I've asked some people to call him to set up a meeting. I went and told them. And probably they would do it even if you don't have that. We got it approved, and with that money we are doing the biochemistry lab. So we are seeking support all over within the government. When these parents come from distances, they don't have a place to live. Today, if you come to Hyderabad, if you come to Nilafar Hospital, this hospital is right next to the Nilafar Hospital. You will see the parents living on footpaths. It's a makeshift. There's a shed. They have some utensils. They cook there, they eat, they sleep, then they come up. So after seeing that, we said, look, we can, we've got to do something. So let's build a satram. Satram is shelter. So we approached, we got to build this. We will give all the money. All we want is the land. Give us the land. And there is plenty of land within that campus itself. So finally, parents, as you said, St. Jude's. In fact, interestingly, after all the work that we are doing, I got a call from St. Jude's, Mumbai. They came and said, Mr. Reddy, we want to help you. Let us know what you want to do. Let us know what should we do. So there are several people in Hyderabad who constantly come and give us some money, few thousands, 10,000 rupees, 5,000, 20,000. There's a group who actually supplies the meals for the patients' parents every day. Interestingly, I think this guy will be in CNN sometimes. There's a guy by name Babu Rao who has a cafe called Nilofar Cafe. For old Hyderabadi guys, you should probably know this. Babu Rao has a small cafe in Hyderabad, right next to the hospital. Every unclaimed body that comes out of that hospital, he does all the last rites. He spends money. It's an amazing thing. About 2-3 years back, when I went to Nilofar Hospital to show my kids, because that's where we were born, the police was living in tent, protecting the hospital. Early morning, they walk with lotas and go to the bathroom inside and then come back. I couldn't stand. I said, this is ridiculous. Then I talked to the superintendent of the hospital. Then I built a 2-bedroom, nice facility for them right at the gate. And if you guys go there, it will have my father's name, S.L.N. Reddy. With 2 rooms and a guard room for them to live. They needed basic, they are protecting that hospital, and the hospital could not provide them, spend 5 or 6 lakh rupees to build 2 rooms and a private bathroom for them. And the police commissioner, A.K. Khan, who was then, I invited him and the additional commissioner and Mahendra Reddy, who is now additional DG Intelligence, to come and inaugurate it. They were very impressed. And Babu Rao was the one who came there, and that's the first time I met him. When I heard about his story, he inspires a lot. Can you imagine? Unclaimed bodies, he basically spends money, his own money, and he's not the wealthiest or the richest guy. He runs a small cave, and he's known all over the community. So, there are several people who have come forward today to support this initiative. I really appreciate, I came last week and I started calling. Of course, I planned this earlier. I talked to my close friend there, Murli, and several community leaders here. I spoke to them and said, look, this is what I'm going to do, and they were all very supportive of this. And in fact, for the Satram, there's a gentleman by name Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy. Some of you old-timers know he's from Douglas, Georgia. He actually called me yesterday when he learned about this. He said, Prabhakar, when you're building this, I want to dedicate a wing in his mother's name. It doesn't matter how much it's going to cost. $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. You just let me know, I'm going to dedicate it. So there are people, once you listen to this story, one of the things I've decided in my life for the rest of the life is to serve this and save as many children as we can. I've done enough. We have done enough in this community, in this country. I've always been taught to give back in this community. I just wanted to show you a small video of this hospital and the children, and then we can have dinner. Can you show the video? No popcorn, just remove the popcorn. There's a video there. We don't need popcorn. I just wanted to introduce you guys, our Consul General of India, Ajit Kumar is here, I just want you to give a round of applause. Thank you, Ajit ji. After this video, I would like you to say a few words, okay?
Every year, around 1 lakh children are diagnosed with cancer in our country, 8,000 from Andhra Pradesh alone. The good news, 8 out of 10 children with cancer can be cured completely. The bad news, in our country, only 1 child out of every 10 makes it. Many are not diagnosed, many more die a painful death.
Many children die from what we call treatment abandonment, that is stopping treatment midway. This is usually because of the kind of background that the children and their families come from. Most parents are daily wage earners, and if they don't earn, they have no food to eat for that day. In these circumstances, when they come to the hospital, they've lost their livelihood now, and they don't have money for the blood products that they need for treatment. They have no money for transport, no money for food. These families are also in a foreign place where they're stripped of all community support, family support, and friends.
The hospital too was poorly equipped to treat children with cancer. No separate ward, not enough nurses, no counselors, no specialized blood bank, not enough diagnostic facilities, no special care that these children needed to make cure a reality. Impact came to our rescue 3 years ago.
Looking at the plight of children in the government hospitals, a group of friends got together to start Impact, which means improving the access to care and treatment. As the first step, we started an exclusive pediatric ward with 14 beds. And then in addition, we also provide the staff which is much needed in improving the treatment for children.
Impact provides the salaries for the counselors who speak to the parents and children. The counselors identify the various needs of these families, be it food, transport, blood products, investigations, emotional support to the parents and the children. Impact holds support group meetings regularly to help the families get through the treatment. While we strive to improve the cure rate for the children, we cannot run away from the reality that many children will still die from the disease. A very special program that Impact totally supports is the Pediatric Palliative Care Program. There is zero tolerance towards pain and other symptoms. Every child is taken care of with dignity till the very end. Recognizing the need for better care and more space for treatment of cancer children, NATCO Trust came forward to build a bigger ward with ICU facilities, playroom, and counseling rooms for the children. We can see a lot more smiles all around the ward. Children are entertained at the play area with special games taught by a teacher available to them all throughout the day. Entertainment facilities include painting, poetry, indoor games, traditional games, and drumming is taught to them by a band called Drumberries.
మాది మాది ఆదిలాబాద్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్.
సెకండ్ డాక్టర్ గారు ఇక్కడ పంపించారు.
కర్నూలు జిల్లా దేవనకొండ మండలం నుంచి వచ్చాము.
జ్వరం తగ్గిందండి, ఎంత సంతోషం పడ్డామండి.
ఇక్కడికి వస్తే ఇక్కడ డాక్టర్స్ చాలా అనుకూలంగా స్పందించి ట్రీట్మెంట్ చాలా బాగుంది.
ఇక్కడ అన్ని పరిస్థితులు బాగానే ఉంది.
Definitely over the past 3 years we have made a lot of strides in improving the cure rates. Our treatment abandonment rate is now down to 5%. So we are able to bring back most of the children for treatment. Of course we have a long way to go. We need a better place for children to stay when they come here for treatment. But with the help of Impact, I think we are able to make a good headway. Our children and their families, they face all out odds and they keep coming to MNJ again and again because there is hope and they have a faith that this hospital and the people here are going to help us. From MNJ's side and from our parents and our children and our staff, we would like to thank Impact for all the wonderful work that they are doing and helping us in making the lives of these children better.
నా పేరు సోని, నేను కర్జల్లి నుంచి వచ్చాను. నాకు డాక్టర్ అవ్వాలని ఉంది. నా పేరు మణికంఠ, 4th క్లాస్ చదువుతున్నాను. నేను పోలీస్ అవ్వాలనుకున్నాను.
देखो इन्हें ये है होश की बूंदें, पत्तों की गोद में आसमां से कूदे, अंगड़ाई ले फिर करवट बदल कर, नाजुक से मोती हंस दे फिसल कर, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर। ये तो है सर्दी में धूप की किरणें, उतरे जो आंगन को सुनहरा सा करने, मन के अंधेरों को रोशन सा कर दे, ठिठुरती हथेली की रंगत बदल दे, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर।
Please join me in thanking Prabhakar for bringing us the wonderful video, and what you're doing is a truly wonderful job. We congratulate you and we thank you for setting an example of great leadership as well as showing our next generation what we can do for this country and back home. Let me welcome Mr. Ajit Kumar, Consul General of India, to come and say a few words about what we are doing and ask him to give us a message, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and namaskar. I'm sorry I got late today because it's the third function I'm attending today, but I think this is most important and most relevant because you're helping the future, little children, Tare Zameen Par. And it's a noble cause. I congratulate Mr. Reddy and all his team. And the video which we saw was really touching. I'm very grateful that to all of you who are helping this noble cause. I'm really amazed by the dedicated team of doctors and the people who have, that the abandonment rate has nearly come to 0. This is a great achievement, ladies and gentlemen. This deserves a great applause. On behalf of the new Consul General of India in Atlanta and my wife Margaret, I would like to thank you for inviting us. And my message is very simple. Keep doing the good work. It is the work for future of India, for our little children, for the betterment of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ajay sir. Thanks for coming and spending a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't know how many of you have come to donate or to listen to what Prabhakar and Dr. Ravi Sharma has to say, but I came to eat. I'm sure some of you are hungry. Just go ahead and then have the food. Now we have Praneeth. Prabhakar's son is going to entertain us with his lovely dance. Praneeth, are you ready? If he is not ready, let Ram and others sing a song. Go ahead and have your dinner, please.
Make some noise for the dancing boy!
1, 2, 3.
All right, friends. Now we have a very interesting dance. The boys. The boys. Right, thank you, Desi boys and girls. Now we're going to continue with some more songs of Telugu and Hindi. Actually, can we have Viju here, please? Viju Chiriveru. Viju మిమ్మల్ని పాడడానికి రమ్మని పిలుస్తున్నారు.
Check. Oof.
Song on his request, but I couldn't make it on that day. But now I'm going to sing for you, Viju. This is the song from Nilo Bundi Hataye, Nugrin Naku Hiroye, Taramu Nuna. Chuguni Narogam, Chuganoki Narada, Taramu Nuna. Nanu Yupochi Mogi Chaptanayini, Yakamo Sene Amanu Hihayini. Yada Chuskunari Deha. Viju, Pada Akasti. పదకొండు అయిపోయింది కదా ఓకేనా లేకపోతే ముందు చెప్తుంటు అది తర్వాత ఆయన కూడా పాడతాడు. నెక్స్ట్ సాంగ్ ఈజ్
Hello, sponsored by Telangana committee and co-sponsored by all the local organizations. And thank you for Ajit Kumar, who was not here now, but making it to the event, and also SP Reddy coming all the way over from India for organizing such a wonderful event to make a difference in the kids who are suffering with cancer. And Viju for coordinating on the event. Ram Durvasla for organizing the cultural program, and Ashiana for arranging the food and the venue. Mr. Ravi Sharma, the Honorable, you just started paying attention. So Mr. Ravi Sharma paying for the Honorable guest speaker for very detailed information on the cancer, how it can be treated, how the people are being suffered. And SP Reddy Garu for going over how Impact is making a difference in the lives of the kids, how he's being dedicating his time to that organization and raising the funds here with us and going back, providing the facilities for the kids back home, and all other people who came here to support that organization. And I would like to thank you each and every individual who contributed to the event. Viju for event coordination, Ranjit for putting together the presentation and the video, Ram Durvasla for providing the singing and coordinating on the cultural programs, and photography and videography by Sridhar and Praveen. Pranita and team performing wonderful dance with his friends from Desi Boys. And also we would like to thank media and press support, Ravi Punnangi from India Tribute and Girish from TV5. I hope you all are having fun and had a good time. Thank you all and a good night. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
చిలకల కొలికిరు పాడవేమి వలపులే తెలుపగా విరబూసిన ఆశలు విరితేనలు చల్లగా అలరులు కురిసిన ఋతువుల తడిసిన మధుర సవాణి తీరవాణి చిలకల కొలికిరు పాడవేమి వలపులే తెలుపగా గరిస పమగ పాని సరిగరిగస నీ సాయి పూలలో అందమై